It's like that frog from the fucking cartoon that dances and sings when no one's looking. Remember that growing up? I used to hate that fucking frog.
Welcome to the next episode of In My DMs. I am Derek.
Matt.
That is Matt. DM stands for Derek and Matt, as you can see plainly as the icon in the corner of your screen, unless you're watching on Spotify, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
So thank you for rocking with us today. We've got the next social commentary that everyone wants to hear about. Matt's opinion, Derek's craziness. Let's get it on. So we're starting out today with everybody's favorite topic of the week, Minnesota ice. And I'm not talking about how cold it is right now because they're getting dumped on in the Northeast like crazy, but we're talking about the immigration
You
folks.
mean dumped on dropping fucking
Loads.
That's right. We ain't talking snow no more.
Dropping loads of snow.
We're emptying mags on people.
And that's actually happening. They're
Yeah.
dumping loads on CCW holding VA nurses.
Yeah, that need to go the fuck home and keep their weapon at home. But you know what that was a SIG 320, by the way. You know what they're famous for?
That was a German gun, right?
Well, it's a German-made gun, but that particular model just will discharge on its own.
Yes, I've heard that. I've not heard it discharge, but
one guy said that's probably what happened, it discharged on its own. And I'm like, yeah, I really want to buy into the narrative that we're just capping these motherfuckers at this point for showing up to this thing armed.
Right. I mean, if it discharged on his own, it discharged while the other dude had taken 3 steps across the street.
Right.
Because he didn't have the goddamn gun on him at that point.
I'm good with it. Whatever we need to stop getting to get rid of the Marxist mommies and get rid of these male nurses.
Get rid of male nurses altogether.
The ones that show up out here, yeah, for sure. Start lighting them up. I told you I want helicopter rides and people up against the wall at this point.
At this point, everybody's catching an L.
Everybody can get it.
All right. So we have a video of the actual
shooting
incident, the part where the shooting is, and some things that we've looked at research-wise. A video that wasn't being played by the right, but was leaned on very heavily by the left. Unfortunately for myself, I was at a place where I didn't have access to my own computers while everything was going down. So I was forced to watch regular broadcast television, and I was only getting information from CNN and MS Now because Fox wasn't showing much. And now that once I saw what the videos were, I understand why Fox wasn't showing much, because they didn't want to lean into we could be wrong on the right, and Fox is right-wing news network right now. So Quan, if you have that clip, would love to see it. So Matt, you want to describe what we're seeing here?
Yeah, basically this officer looks like he is reaching in to grab Alex Pretty's weapon off of his waist.
So pause it for a second, if you can. So that brown piece going down on the right-hand side there, that is Alex Pretty on the ground in a butterfly position. 4 or 5 ICE officers over the top of him.
Mm-hmm.
The guy with the arrow is attempting to disarm him with his piece in his backside.
Yeah, that's that piece of shit SIG 320 he's trying to get off of his waist.
And as we were talking beforehand, SIG 320 could
very well go off. It discharges on its own.
Okay. All right, roll. So here, pause. That ding you heard was Matt indicating that officer just pulled his weapon.
Yeah, you can see it pretty clear.
Right. So in the guy's right hand with the arrow at the top, guy has his weapon unholstered now and about to point it at a citizen who is on the ground, clearly not able to do much more than lay there at this point.
Well,
he can resist, but
he can't. And the part of this we can't see, and you have to remember these are split second decisions.
Right.
So the guy that's on the other side, he can't see that firearm. Do we agree?
Yes.
So he's on the blind side. This gentleman up top that is trying to disarm him may have yelled out commonly in law enforcement, military, you'll say gun, gun, gun.
Yes.
So if I start yelling that out, you're on the opposite side of this guy. You don't see me pull his pistol off of his waist. You just hear gun, gun, gun. You might assume that he's trying to use that gun, and that's why you would shoot him. All they need is any kind of reasonable suspicion or doubt that they're in harm. So if I can't see the weapon and you start announcing the weapon, it's go time.
Right. So it's I've had very deep conversations with bunches of buddies of mine who are all CCW members, myself included.
Yeah.
And the overwhelming final answer of it is, if you go into a situation where violence is happening, you are a CCW carrier, you can expect that no one's going to give you the benefit of the doubt once they know that you are armed.
Well, he's committing a felony.
In that
He's obstructing a federal operation. I understand from his perspective and the left's perspective, they're saying, well, he's just trying to help this woman. Well, the woman was shoved to the ground because she was obstructing. She was pushed out of the way. So in comes Nurse Ratchet with his P320, and he's trying to help, but he's really not helping per se. He's obstructing.
So that's a good point, because it's going to be a matter of opinion. My opinion was, dude was standing in the middle of the street filming, directing traffic, sees lady get pushed to the ground, goes over to help her up off the ground. I don't consider that obstructing justice. That's being a good Samaritan.
So would you have done, in light of what, just take yourself and put yourself in that guy's position, and you see federal agents shove a woman out of the way from doing their job, you're going to run in there and get involved with your sidearm on?
Me personally, no, because number one, I wouldn't be out there with my sidearm on.
Well, because you're smart enough to know you don't fucking do that.
But if I found myself in that situation where, let's say I was walking down the street, some shit's going down. I don't know that it's federal agents out in the middle of the street. I just know that there's a commotion, and I, as a good Samaritan, have the opportunity to help. And let's assume that's what's going on with this guy.
Dude, these guys are all geared up.
He wasn't, though.
They weren't dressed like fucking bartenders. They're all dressed like ICE agents. It says ICE.
But you saw the video. Everybody's wearing like Carhartt jackets.
I know, but they're all, the one guy did that grabbed the pistol and walked off.
Right.
But the agents themselves, they're masked up, they're geared up, they're full battle rattle.
Okay, so semantics, and maybe we can finally have our first fucking argument on this show. So dude sees the lady pushed down. Good Samaritan says, I'm gonna go help her up. He gets pushed. He puts his hands up, and then he gets grabbed and thrown to the ground after putting his hands up.
Yeah. I don't recall the put the hands up part. I'm not saying he didn't.
Yeah. So what happens is she gets pushed to the ground. He goes to help her up. Someone grabs him from his shoulder.
Yeah.
He goes and says like this with one hand, because the other hand got pulled down.
And you're sure he's not just praise Jesus or nothing like that?
It probably was praise Allah.
Right. Well, then smoke that dude.
But at that point, he gets pepper sprayed. Okay. Turns his back, put in the pepper spray, puts his hand up again, and then gets taken to the ground, put in the butterfly.
Yeah.
And then
at some point that pistol's exposed because they've seen it.
Right.
Because they're looking for shit like that.
He may have even said, I am a CCW holder. I have a gun.
Well, then you're a bag of rocks if you're out there. If you really want to do that, and which he should have just stayed out of the mix. This is my opinion. He should have stayed all the way the fuck out of this, and he would still be at home sleeping with his boyfriend and having a nice night. But instead, he goes in, they see his pistol. He doesn't declare that he has a pistol, which I don't know would have helped him anymore. Hey, I'm a CCW carrier. Please don't shoot me. I just want to assist this woman. Maybe that would have saved his life.
Possibly.
But what would have saved his life for sure is staying the fuck out of the business. Stay the fuck out of the whole operation.
Yeah, if you engage the officers, tell them what your intention are, and do things that don't look out of sorts, you have a better chance of getting out of there. But the issue is you don't go into a situation like that carrying and expect to come out unless you're going to get it. You don't go in that situation unless you're expecting a gunfight. Right? You don't go into a situation armed unless you yourself are expecting a gunfight.
Yeah. Your anticipation, in my opinion, is you showed up to a gunfight with a gun.
Exactly.
So don't do that unless you want to be involved in that. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, he was just trying to help.
And I'm one.
This is a hostile environment now.
I agree.
This is a Marxist coup. And real quick, let me explain the three. I don't want to go down this whole rabbit hole, but there are three types of Marxism, and they're all on display. So it's cultural. That's when I get you by gender or race. There's the original version of Marx and Engels, which is control the product, control the people, right? Which is the people is the proletariat, it's the middle class. Okay. Then you have the last version, which is where we are now, which combines all of it, which is the Fabian Marxism, which brings in corporatism and all of these things into one to get the middle class proletariat to do the things that these people are doing out there, and they don't even know that they've been brought into that fold. Some don't.
Like protesting, standing up for...
Well, look at one of the hotels. They're using strobe lights, whistles, all of the techniques that they've been trained against. This isn't natural. They're not just showing up, banging on trash cans, using strobe lights and blowing whistles because they feel like that's the way to do it. They've been taught this.
Yeah.
Cedar Creek is the foundation that runs these people. They're funded by the Tides Foundation, also funded by Open Society and George Soros. All of this money and planning took place to bring what you're seeing into the streets. So when you are basically a trained militia group, when they call themselves anti-fascist, but they're actually fucking fascists, they show up violent. They do things like Renee Good did, where she tried to run someone over. I mean, we can look at that video, but you recall the video where the breakdown where she turns the tires into that guy.
Yeah. So we have that video from last time. And so just because we're on this subject, we just want to cover it. Tim Pool had a great breakdown video. Think what you want about Tim Pool, but he showed that with wheels pointed at the agent, she stepped on the gas, wheels spin on the ice, doesn't engage.
Yeah.
When it finally does engage, officer has his pistol drawn at that time because he realized this bitch is trying to run me over. Well, and then she turns the tires.
Well, yeah, exactly. She turns the tires into him. They slow it all down. You can see her do it. She points the fucking vehicle right at the guy. I would have shot you too. I get to go home to see my family.
And the Metro police officers the police officers we spoke to around the valley about their opinion of it said, looked like a good shoot to me and everything that they've seen. So regardless of what you think about ICE or police in general, the laws and training that these guys have says in that situation they are to engage. So,
and my point in the broader the broad stroke of this is not an organic thing. For some people, it is. They fall into that trap of, hey, they're protesting, but most of this is an organized effort from the top down. It's funded through NGOs. These people are trained. They have techniques. They understand exactly what they're doing. They have communications. It's the same thing that's happening, and I don't want to switch, but like with Iran, when they were exposed, with the communications involved.
Yes.
These people are all communicating and being guided. So in my opinion, this nurse went out there. How do I know he's not part of that? He's showing up armed. He's involving himself directly with the law enforcement effort, and he got in the way with his pistol.
Yeah, public service announcement. It is constitutional to peacefully gather and have freedom of expression. Not constitutional to not peacefully gather. And once the protest turns not peaceful, you are now operating outside the Constitution and against the law. Yeah. So the minute something gets burned, a bottle gets broken, something gets smashed, that is no longer a legal protest. And as I've been told by many people, once that happens, your job is to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Period. Because now you are now contributing to an unlawful peace, and unless you're wanting to go to jail, it's time for you to go.
Or worse.
And what I noticed during the George Floyd riots is, regardless of how peaceful they were intending to be, people would show up and make it not peaceful. I remember seeing a video of a guy outside of an AutoZone where there was like 50 people just meandering and nothing was really happening. And this guy in the full Antifa getup walks up with a stick, breaks out all the windows at an AutoZone, takes a bottle, lights it, throws it inside, walks away.
They are called agent provocateurs.
There you go.
And they are paid and trained to do these type of things because sometimes, you just can't get the party started right. You got to have somebody come in that's a little more spicy.
A fluffer.
So, yeah, right. So the fluffer comes in and gets this party popping. But unfortunately for all the people around who weren't anticipating that, who really didn't want to do that, you've now become part and parcel to that if you decide you want to join in.
Yeah, because I'd like to think during the George Floyd riots, all the black people were down there trying to be peaceful. And then the Antifa showed up and made it not peaceful. And black folks, when there's a fight, we're going to get involved. I mean, there's just...
Well, there's two types. There's like Cedric says, like if you see me running, you better start running with me, right? Or others that just want to stay and fight. And to be fair, you're saying Antifa, but it wasn't just Antifa. Black Lives Matter was part of that whole organizational tree. Same people were funding them, and the same principles were applied to them as well.
I mean, look, we don't know who actually did what, but there are a lot of evidence that says Black Lives Matter actually had provocateurs out there doing some of those things too, because the more it was happening, the more money that they were going to get through their fundraising efforts. I mean, it's a natural transition.
And let me back you up. When I broke down the three types of Marxism, the cultural Marxism applies to race and gender. And what are the two groups we're talking about? You're talking about the gender, the Trantifa. They call them Trantifa for a reason. I've got some videos we can look at. The guy
We should probably pull up that guy.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what was the name of that video? You keep going. I'll find the name.
Well, during the day, he's a crime fighter named Kyle and says he's Antifa. And at night, he puts on a dress.
Antifa Kyle.
Yeah. Let's take a look at Antifa Kyle.
So what's funny is I saw this video from somebody else before you shared it with me, and I didn't see all the other stuff that went with it.
Well, you got to dig a little. Once you find Antifa Kyle, then you got to find Antifa Kyle dressed up and pretty.
Right. What's Antifa Kyle's name when he's dressed up and pretty?
I don't know if he's got a counter name to that.
Kylie?
He's probably still maybe Kylie.
I like Kylie.
I like Kylie.
Yes. Oh no, that's another great guy.
What did I say?
When you sent me this video of the guy with the big beard, I thought that's the one. Yeah, I thought it was.
Where are you seeing that?
I can see that.
My name is Kyle. I'm Antifa, and there's so much rage in me that I've had to record this like 15 times trying to get the message out. They fucked up. Okay, go watch my other videos. Doesn't matter if you're not here and you're not caught up. You missed the fucking fight. But if you are, it's time to suit up. Boots on the ground. Nicollet and fucking 26th. My house is 4 blocks away. Anywhere between Franklin and Nicollet and 26th and Nicollet. Show up, ready to go. Okay? Not talking about peaceful protests anymore. We're not talking about having polite conversations anymore. I am talking specifically to my fucking followers. This is everything I have fucking talked about, and this is exactly what I said was gonna happen. This is exactly what I said was gonna fucking come when we didn't fucking go and march on fucking Whipple with guns. Sorry, but welcome to America 2026, where Second Amendment is the only thing that's going to keep you fucking protected from literal fucking Nazi gunmen that are killing innocent people in the street with impunity. This is not a fucking joke. There's nothing fun to chant about it. Get your fucking guns and stop these fucking people.
Yeah, so that's a lot. When I heard that the first time, I wasn't sure what I was looking at, and then couple that with the rest of the information about this guy. So,
which is also Kyle in a red dress dancing around saying he hates to be catcalled by cis women, which are, not straight women,
Right.
I don't think anyone's catcalling Kyle. I just don't. In his red dress.
I don't know.
I know. I know one's catcalling that guy.
Spent any time in the great state of Minnesota. I don't know how they get down. I know that if Jesse Ventura can be governor, some shit's wild up in that joint.
Yeah, we need him back.
Probably.
As oddly as that sounds, and he's a weirdo himself, but it was better when he was there.
He was at least fun. Remember when him and Stern were going to run for president and VP?
That would have been a ticket.
That would have been weird.
Yeah.
Especially with Stern the way he is today.
Yeah. You mean vaccinated?
Just off the fucking deep end, dude. He's trying to get back to be left. Like he's so far left, he has to go.
He was
like
controversial,
a mile right?
And a rebel, and the shock jock. But then when the thing happened in 2020, he was like, "Please, everyone, I demand you go get vaccinated."
Right, or don't watch my show.
How about go fuck yourself?
I went and fucked myself. I was not getting vaccinated.
No, me either.
So, I guess this is a great time to segue into this conversation about ICE and Trump and his policies and how it's affecting the country and more specifically, my opinion on it. I've had some time to sit with this, and, I've got friends and family who are in the U.S. on a green card or have been in the U.S. on a green card, and they're legal by that green card.
Right. So they went through the process.
They're not naturalized citizens yet. I've got a couple friends who are naturalized that were here with a green card and eventually got naturalized, and it was a big deal for them. The challenge I have with immigration or illegal immigration is people skipping the line.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to go a step further because the black folks in this country didn't skip a line. We got forced. Our ancestors got forced into this country. And then we had to put up with 250 years of slavery and being beaten and treated unfairly for those 250 years. And then another 150 years of segregation and being treated poorly.
Hold on a second.
Yeah. You're going to need to wipe.
Yeah, I'm going to get a tissue while you're over here. It's bringing fucking tears to my eyes. So, continue on.
The point is, we fucking deserve to be here. Well, blood, sweat, and tears literally got our people into this country, and to allow other people to not go through some sort of test, trial, certification to become American when it's required, that pains me from the perspective of a black person.
Well, I think I completely agree with you. Black culture is American culture because there is no, the roots go back to Africa. We agree on that. But,
right. But we don't have any cultural connection to
but most people don't.
Continent of Africa.
Like my mom's part Potawatomi Indian. Just to say that sounds fucking weird.
Yeah.
But I'm not outside doing rain dances, and I sure the fuck don't live in a teepee, and I don't care. I'm an American.
Okay.
And the fact that people jump the line to get in, it diminishes the people who are waiting in the line to get here.
Right.
So the process, and then there's the whole onboarding process. It's like getting hired at IBM. You don't just get thrown into a desk, right? Hey, go over there and just start working on random shit. There's an onboard process. There's a way we do things here. That's the culture of America. They used to give the civics class and the test and all that. You had to learn.
I think they still do.
Not if you're coming in illegally. No one's giving you. You're not getting any of that shit.
Right.
You're not getting the crash course of this is America. These are the expectations.
Right.
Even if it's not the best, it's still something. But I think I've talked to you about this a little bit. There was a guy I met, a Somali guy. His name's Casa, like the house. And we were having
Spanish.
We were having a discussion about why he loved this country so much. Because there's always something to eat. His kids can walk to school and not get shot. Clearly, he hasn't been to Chicago or some other places. But from where he was from, the bar was so low that that's what made him happy.
Right.
A minimum amount of food, and his kids don't get shot at. That's not what Americanism is. We have to strive to be better than that. So when you bring in people like that, especially illegally, you change the mindset of a country, the culture of a country. So now you have people who will live hand to mouth and vote no matter what. They'll vote for the people that brought them in, and they'll do it for cheap. And that's the part that's changing the culture and changing generations.
How are they voting without a social security number?
Well, you can get an ID, not that they even ask. In California, they tell you don't ask. But you can just get an ID. It doesn't matter. You go down to the DMV here in Nevada and get an ID.
Without a birth certificate?
I don't know the process, but you can be illegal and go get one. I've talked to people at the DMV, and I've seen it happen when I was down there.
Interesting, because as an American, I've lost my license before.
Mm-hmm.
And if they didn't have your documentation in the system, you had to show up with a original birth certificate, not a copy.
Yeah.
An original with the seal from the hospital that you got it from. To get a replacement Social Security card, you had to produce the same thing, because I've unfortunately had to do both in my lifetime.
Those days are past now, and if you are from another country and you're here illegally, they just let you skip the line on all the processes. And again, it's not to our benefit. And I'm not mad at people that want to come here. You deserve a chance at having a better life.
Just do it
but
the right
come
way.
here the right way.
Exactly.
I don't want you jumping the line like you and I talked about.
No, come here, get some hot American chick pregnant, marry her. That way you get the shortcut process and you're in.
Or be a hot foreign chick and come in here and we'll, have an interview process. I don't want any of that.
So let's roll back to Minnesota real quick.
Yeah.
The big contingent of immigrants that are there illegally are Somali.
Mm-hmm.
The widespread fraud in the state has a lot to do with people who are so old that there's no way they could still be receiving benefits. And I was watching a pod the other day that someone brought up an interesting point. There's people who are receiving benefits who are said to be 115 years old because no government entity has ever been called to have the coroner come stamp them and say that they're deceased.
Yeah, report their death.
There's supposedly thousands of people over 90, hundreds of people over 100, and tens of people over 115.
Yeah, I think Elon and Doge got into that.
Yeah. Where are the bodies?
Are
they eating them?
Oh, I know.
Where are these dead people?
You know, I did see some of this, and there was an incident. I wish I could recall it better, of a gentleman that was on camera that they caught coming out of one of these places and was allegedly injured. But the allegation is that they're processing these people as meat.
That's my guess, because the story is the people of these areas in Minnesota don't recall ever getting a call for a heart attack,
right?
For
anything.
Hey, emergency! I need you to come get so and so. They could exactly
Yeah.
like none of that is happening in Minnesota with the Somali contingency.
So what's the chances that someone in Minnesota has eaten a Somali, like an actual Somali person burger? Like, if that meat is getting processed and sent.
Well,
like
every
somewhere.
other like major spot in America has their own signature hot dog. I wonder,
would the Somali hot dog be big or small?
I don't know where Somalia is. It's part of Africa, right?
Yeah, but they claim to be kind of more Middle Eastern. They really actually look down on Black Americans. They don't care for them. So I mean, you're not going to convince them that they're black, but
no, I'm gonna say small then.
So okay, so let's do that
just version. Because now I'm mad.
Closer to Asia.
Because now I'm mad. They all got small dicks.
Okay. Because they're condescending, you are now.
I want them to be like me.
Small and finish fast. I got it.
It ain't fat, but it sure is short.
This just got dark. No, but you can go all the way back to who actually started this, and it was Obama that brought in the Somalis between, I want to say somewhere around 2011 to 2014. And the initial wave of them was like, I want to say 12,000 people.
Okay, when you say Obama brought in the Somalis, like he in his SUV was like, "Yo,"
I don't know if he actually drove them there, but he made all the arrangements. The administration did, and they placed these Somalis right into Minnesota.
Were they like refugees of some sort? And he's like, "We're gonna try to help these folks out." That was the story.
Well, I'm sure it was sold as that,
Okay.
but the fact of the matter is, if you get into the deeper shit that's going on. You go to a place like Minnesota, who was always known for having very polite, nice, friendly white people.
I always thought it was the whitest state in the union besides North Dakota and South Dakota.
Well, it kind of was. And I think if you look at geographically where it's located, it's a good spot to hit right in the middle, to dump off a bunch of people who are basically fucking pirates who don't have a government and will do anything. They're the bagmen for all the shit that they want done. They're willing to do all the things, all the dirty shit, like we're seeing with the embezzlement, basically, that other people won't do.
Right. So eventually set up a pipeline to do what is the great big thing that the boogeyman does in America. Yeah. The people that we are upset with are those who are looking to transfer wealth from America to their own pockets. So vaccines, transfer wealth from America to their own pockets. This now thing, Somali daycares, right? Yeah. No one's actually getting daycare. Money's just going into this place and getting out of town. And
well, the way I understand it is they broker the deal for a percentage,
right?
But the ones handling them are going to be predominantly leftists who set up these programs, because they didn't come over here and just know, hey, I need to open a fucking daycare. That's my thing. In Somalia, I have a daycare as well, where I watch fucking goats and shit. The fact of the matter is, they came over here, they came over here and they taught them how to do it.
Of course.
So the people up at the top brokered the deal with them. They become the bagmen down at the bottom. Then all this money gets filtered back into the system, into places like Act Blue or other, into the pockets of other politicians.
Right.
And they just perpetually keep funding themselves.
The important thing funneled out of American taxpayers' pockets into leftist
organizations.
Traditionally, there are some people on the right too that are receiving like 70% of the funds that are about this, and the other 30% actually goes to whatever the cause is the traditional number. That's what came out in Doge, right?
Well, I would say some of that's even bolder than that. I think some of it's just open theft, and they're keeping all of it. But yeah, I mean, allegedly it's about 30% that goes somewhere.
Yeah, that sucks.
It does, because that's everyone in the room, right? We all pay that. We pick up the fucking tab on this,
right,
to have these people, and some of them are very arrogant. If you watch some of the videos they do, they're like, "Go to work for me." Blah blah blah. Have you seen any of these?
No.
Yeah, I'll send you some. They're like, you guys work for me, and I know that these leftist politicians are seeing this and just like, fuck, just be quiet, like stop talking, take your 30% and shut your mouth. But through TSA and what's trackable, right? When you go through TSA, you have to declare. If I have over $10,000, I have to declare that money. They're so bold, they're declaring it. And right now, through TSA, the trackable amount of money that went back into Somalia, $700 million.
In trackable cash.
Trackable cash that went through the TSA that was declared.
Holy shit. Over how much time?
The frame of that, I'm not sure. But you're literally
but
talking.
Since 2012.
Yeah, right. You're talking from the time they got this infrastructure set up till current day, 10 years? I mean, if you're going to go 10 years, 70 or $700 million.
And that's not just one Somali prince who did 60 million on his own.
No.
Okay.
And that's the ones that are declaring.
Right.
Not everyone's going to be declaring. So
naturally.
And then some of this is supposedly going to, was it Boko Haram? They're funding, terrorism abroad. I mean, we're paying for terrorists.
Sweet.
Like you get the commercial that comes on, you want to adopt a baby elephant for X amount. We're getting terrorists. We get a little Somali terrorist in the fucking mail because we sent $700 million over to their country.
I just can't wait for that package to show up.
Listen, stay out of the fridge.
Only when you're told.
Yeah. You see a girl in here, she's not yours, all right?
So Minnesota is the hotbed shithole for everything that's going on. Not that Minnesota is a shithole place, because it never was and probably never will be. But right now it's a shithole for what's going on.
Well, it was targeted because it was so nice. The people there were so nice. Such an easy place to commit all this shit, and no one ever says anything.
And no one else wants to go there because it's fucking cold.
Well, not now. Especially not now.
Right.
Yeah.
Is this also where they were claiming that people were eating dogs and cats? Was that somewhere else?
No, that wasn't the Somalis.
That was Haitian.
Those were Haitians, yeah.
Where was that?
That was more Midwest. I want to say Kansas, but I'm not 100% sure. Same basic principle. Bring in people who are willing to do things.
Yeah.
For money.
Fuck, man. Well, I don't like it. If I was on the receiving end of some of the cash, I could probably be a little bit more tolerant, but I'm not.
Right. Not getting any of it.
At the end of the day, this sucks for America. So, just wrap it all up in a big bow. Like, the one thing that, I'm not a Trump supporter. I have an issue with how he carries himself for the American people. He's not presidential and doesn't give Americans who aren't his dyed-in-the-wool supporters any great feeling about him being president of this country. Not that it's his requirement, but that's what we're used to as the American people. And he's not doing that in the least. He's like, fuck your feelings. Here's what I'm doing. I told you I wasn't going to do this 2025 Heritage Plan, and it's exactly what I'm fucking doing now. I'm going to repeal everything that had anything to do with diversity because it ties in the LGBTQ community. Whether I cared about black people or not, I don't give a fuck right now. I'm getting rid of it all.
And I like him for all those reasons.
Exactly.
Yeah. I didn't want DEI. I don't want to go to work every day and have some homosexual stand there and tell me that I have to respect him because he sleeps with men. I don't give a shit. I want to go to work and be left the fuck alone. That's what I want.
I think that's what we all want, unless you're looking for attention, and that's maybe where this comes from.
Right. And I don't, specifically for the LGBTQIA, whatever the fuck they call themselves at this point, I don't even know how we got there. You're talking about what, maybe 2%, 3% of the population has gotten so much light shined on them and so much fucking play on air. For what? Do you care? Do I come in and say, I am so heterosexual today. I have a heterosexual flag. I want you to understand that I sleep with women. That's not a prerequisite for me going to work.
Well, I care because I have friends that are part of that community that were gay or before it became popular, right?
Were they living some tortured lifestyle prior to that?
None of these people know.
Well, I don't even know any of them. Like all of these alleged victims where they say, well, it's so hard to live this way. And I understand that, but that's your choice. You get that choice.
Yeah. So, all right, now we're going to have a deeper conversation about the whole thing, right? So growing up, when something wasn't fun or funny, it was gay. And if someone who I didn't like, and someone who I didn't like was a fag.
That's still right. We're keeping that rhetoric.
And that's the thing. I can't, because I know that I've offended some friends.
No,
over the years.
I'm gonna make fag great again.
Good luck.
We're gonna do hoodies, bro.
Right.
It's going down.
I also used to use the term retarded when things weren't going right.
Solidly,
don't do that anymore because there's a ton of folks who are,
retarded.
lower IQ and still contributing members of society, and they don't deserve to be classified with that thing.
I think you're way off. I think society was a much more polite society when we got to shame people and bully people and pick on them.
You're not wrong in that. You're not wrong in that.
Yeah. Well, listen, the kids that used to have to sit towards the front of the bus because something was wrong with them, and all the cool kids sat in the back. Well, that's all fucking reversed now. And now those dumb kids that sat in the front that no one liked, they're not only sitting wherever they want, they're driving the bus. And this shit bothers me because they can't drive. They're the low IQ people. They're the retards. And they should have to wear the helmets, and they should have to sit right in the front so we can keep an eye on them.
And I don't necessarily agree with any of that, but I don't have a rebuttal for it because what the fuck are we going to do?
Well, you're just more polite about it.
It's not necessarily that I'm polite. Like I don't want to say that sucks and it equates to you and your people, because that's what was done to black people for forever, right? If you were low wages and stupid or ignorant, you were a NIGGER, and it was referring to black people, which I take a obviously big hard issue with. So if I'm taking issue with it for myself and my people, I also have to stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. So and represent myself that way. Whether I'm going to go out and fucking protest about it is a whole other ballgame, but I myself have to represent myself in a certain way because I care about that group of people, that I would never do that.
Well, but look at how far that line's been pushed.
It got pushed entirely too far.
We started with political correctness.
Right.
And now you get, like, they went after comedians. Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, so that part sucks.
It's not, when you say that part, we can't selectively pick and choose little pieces and parts of that we don't like.
Well, if you're doing comedy, you get a free pass.
Yeah, but I mean, just in general, it didn't start with comedy, though. It moved to comedy. So once they start moving those goalposts, they set it up, right? You and I can't say certain things. Well, now you can't say certain things. And it moved into comedy. Now you have Dave Chappelle, who's probably the funniest guy in all of comedy, who took on the mantle of, I will push back on this.
Yes.
And because of him, I think that shift that they tried to make didn't work. You can't tell people what not to say.
Right.
And that's not exclusive to comedy. I go around in my life and I say the things I want to say. And if it is offensive, that's your problem. You have to stop being offended by everything. And I don't purposely walk around going, hey, you fucking retard, or hey, you fag. But if I happen to say, man, that is retarded, you're not going to hold me to some standard that makes me feel bad. I'm going to say those things for the rest of my life.
You're absolutely right. And that's also what I prescribe to. But I'm also, because I prescribe to that, I know that I'm not going to say that, because there are people like myself who are offended by it. And if I am offended by it, far be it from me to have someone else next to me be offended by it.
Well, Derek, in response to that, I'm just going to say that's gay.
It might be. So I don't know how. I had a point that I was trying to make with all of that. Fuck me. We were talking about Minnesota.
Yeah.
How do we get on the political correct shit?
I don't know. I just followed you down that rabbit hole because it's a thing I like to talk about.
Is Minnesota gay?
Well, we got into the
I don't know. What the fuck did I just do?
Trantifa.
Okay.
Probably from Trantifa and that whole thing. They're all a bunch of gays like Kyle.
Okay, so let's go somewhere with it. So the political spectrum of this is, it swung entirely too far left, and the overcorrection is the American government swinging entirely too far right for the overcorrection. And going too far left created a divide in the country because it was too far left, and people like yourself and me, like, look, I'm not going to get out there and protest against it. I just maybe don't like it.
Yeah.
You don't give a shit, clearly stated. But it's created a divide where you've now created silos of people like you who are like, I'm not fucking doing this anymore. Well, and fuck everyone who's trying to make me do it.
It's even worse.
Right.
You've created, I'll do the other side of this. As much shit as I talk, I'm not against people being gay. Just don't force me into that conversation. Sure. But now you've created a whole culture, like from the Nick Fuentes guys and the Groypers, who are actively and openly opposed to anything Jewish, gay,
right,
and in some cases black. They're just going hard on everything because you've pushed these people so far into a corner that they've become angry about it.
And now they've created a following.
It's actually growing
right,
quick, and those are young guys. You're talking about the youth.
So by going too far left, it's created a divide for people who didn't want to be that far left. And now they're all the fucking rally cry for Trump because he is their hero.
Yeah.
He is their retarded hero.
He's willing to say the things, right, and do things.
That's where the conversation was going,
right? So go back through history. Go back through the politically correct presidential way to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Is 95% bullshit and 5% lies, right? And which equates basically to a whole bunch of lies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, like Obama was very presidential in how he moved and how he spoke.
Correct.
But he lied about pretty much everything. And we can get into all of his policies. I mean, the Dark Act, which basically hid all GMOs from everyone. What's the purpose of doing that? Syria. I mean, go down the list. There's nothing that the guy did, but he sure sounded good doing it. So everyone loved that he was in a brown wrapper, and they loved that he said it in the right way. And those are all the fucking wrong reasons to support someone. If you are a basic pile of dog shit that lies to the American people across the board, but you do it in a nice manner, people will do it. Look at what they did with vaccines. And I keep, you know me, that's a sensitive spot for me. It pisses me off to my core.
Samesies.
Right? Because they told you the right way and these people aligned with you ideologically, well, sure, I'll let you have access to my body. And it's not working out well. And I don't care for anyone that thinks different. You just got your head in the sand because there is way more than enough information out there to prove mortality rates, cancer rates, strokes, neurological disorders. Everything has gone through the roof on the rollout of that thing.
It's like they put steroids into every other disease by supposedly stopping you from dying from this other one, and there's just as many people dying from the shot as there are from people dying from the disease they were supposed to fix.
They lied about who's dying from the disease and that world death clock, if you recall that.
Oh, I loved that thing.
Yeah, I know you did. And
I
used to get on your page and I'd be like, why are you talking about this fucking thing?
That thing was fucking amazing.
Well, let me ask one question from the most logical standpoint. When we call something a pandemic, right, means people are dying.
Yep.
How come no one died in the streets? You find me one person that can tell you of someone they watched collapse at the grocery store or on the sidewalk or anywhere in the public square from being sick with COVID. Find me one.
I don't know of anyone that collapsed and died.
Doesn't exist.
I've seen people actually faint and fall down from COVID, but never die.
When you say faint and fall down from COVID, what are we talking about?
My wife had COVID.
Okay.
She went walking to the garage. She said, "Hey, I came to tell you I don't feel well," and then fucking fell on her face.
But did she die?
No, I'd say she didn't die.
What I'm saying
if she had fallen into something where she smacked her head, she probably could have died, but it wasn't from COVID.
World death clock.
Yeah.
And all of these trackable deaths, right? How come every one of these deaths ended up being in a hospital? Every fucking one of them.
Because that's the way they were tracked.
Because that's where you died.
Of course.
And that's where they were. That is impossible. A virus does not have the wherewithal to know, I have now arrived at a hospital. It's time to kill your ass.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting framing.
but that's the truth.
People went to the hospital because they were sick and eventually died while they were there being treated.
They weren't being treated. They were being murdered.
Also true. Like they were pumping them with everything. The ventilators were actually blowing their lungs apart.
I'll take you right down the whole thing. Yeah. The remdesivir, 8 to 9 days. It was a 10-day protocol. The vast majority of people died on the 8th day, including a good friend of mine whose father went in and died on the 8th day from the remdesivir. And then if you were so unlucky that you happened to take and get yourself on a respirator, you had about a 97% chance of dying. Because when you hit the respirator, you take the respirator and you put it on healthy lungs, it killed you. People died in hospitals because there was an incentivized to do it. The government was paying hospitals to kill you.
I agree with all this.
Well, then the world death clock's bullshit.
It still was fun to watch. That doesn't change the fucking thing.
It made me mad, bro.
Like, I remember seeing that Germany had like 10 deaths and everybody else was in the thousands. I'm like, fucking, I'm a quarter German, bro.
We're winning, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then that one fucking guy did a video where he licked the post in Germany and then Germany went to the fucking roof with their number.
That guy did it. It's the one guy licked the post.
Well, it's just like, God, who's the basketball player? Rudy Gobert. Same shit. Licks the microphone after a press conference. Right. He touched them all, right?
Right. That tells me there's an agenda behind it. When you start fucking around, they're like, okay, let's get them. You know,
no, maybe that's they probably were targeted. If it would make more sense based on how things have been going the last 10 years.
Look at retrospectively. Look back. Anyone that spoke out about it was what? Look what they did to Joe Rogan. They painted the dude gray and said he was eating horse paste. And CNN aired that shit.
I missed that, but Joe's as popular now as he's ever been.
Well, Joe Rogan got COVID, and he was treated by a doctor that he deals with, and the guy treated him with ivermectin. I'm going to tell you right now, I was giving people ivermectin. I had ivermectin.
Was as well, and I take it every time I get COVID.
Exactly. How fucking often are you getting it?
Like 7 times now.
Dude, you might want to just go to the doctor and get like a fucking blood transfer. Transfer.
Let me just say that I'm immune to a lot of shit now. Just not COVID.
Well, the way they were treating that and the way they were treating people who spoke out against it was tyrannical. And anytime you have a problem like that, that's the wrong side to be on. And those people were lining up telling you to take a vaccine. And I happen to know, just because of the people I follow and the shit that I've read, the vaccine kills people. Period. End of story. It's not even debatable. There's a 20+% mortality, and it's probably higher than that. And it's trackable through the insurance actuaries. 40% rise in life insurance claims since the rollout of the vaccine. That's probably closer to the real mortality rate
of the vaccine.
Yeah,
I know 3 separate people who have died from myocarditis since taking the vaccine.
I know people that got myocarditis. I've been to.
One of them would have been celebrating her 50th birthday yesterday.
Yeah. And sadly, she's not here.
Correct.
And this is the shit that I fought about, which got 9 of my accounts closed, because you can go through even further. I didn't know we were doing a COVID show, but I love this. Crimson Contagion, and there was other government operations that took place prior to the COVID rollout. And I can show you the documents where they outline the whole rollout of COVID. They even show in those documents how to manage social media and what to put on social media to get people to do the things that they wanted them to do.
God damn.
Why would you need if it's an organic thing and people got sick, why would you need someone to tell you how to write your post?
Yeah, so I remember when all that was going down, about 3 months prior to it, Bill Gates came out and said, we are set for there to be another pandemic. We're at that.
Well, that was actually Anthony Fauci, I think. Anthony Fauci said that Trump should expect, and this was in 2017, he should expect a pandemic.
Well, maybe that's what got Bill Gates to study it, because it wasn't until Bill Gates said something, and at that time I thought he was the fucking greatest person on the planet, and he leaned into the vaccine thing at the time and was like, hey, this is coming. Every 100 years we have this thing. It's coming. We need to be prepared.
He didn't lean into it. He owns Moderna.
He invented it.
He made money on it, and he was killing people. Okay, period. That's how that whole thing worked. Yeah, he's a psychopath.
But his vaccine thing turned into population control, turned into, okay, you're fucking crazy.
Well, this is going to continue. It gets far worse than that. They poisoned the whole blood supply. And I got kicked off of Vitalent's page more times than not than I could count, just from going on there and saying, now, when you take blood from people, do you separate the good, healthy blood from the vaccinated blood? And they would, and you could see pictures of it. They look different. The bloods physically look different.
Interesting, because of the spike protein.
Because they're not the same blood anymore. It's poison. And then if you wanted to get an organ transplant, you couldn't have an organ transplant unless you had the vaccine. What is that doing? What is the purpose of that?
Makes no sense.
They poison the whole organs, the organ supply, the blood supply, and the spike protein is transmissible through sex. So now you meet a nice girl, right?
Shit, my wife is vaccinated.
Oh, fuck, bro. So you're vaccinated by default.
I don't know, maybe I was immune to the vaccination because I had COVID so many times.
That's why you got fucking COVID 7 times, bro. You're basically vaccinated, and that's what causes it. I'm going to help you out. Nattokinase. No bullshit. The wellness.
How do you spell that?
Nattokinase. Nattokinase.
Is that real?
That is real.
Okay.
And it actually removes the spike protein from your body. Bro, I was like Dr. Matt during the fucking thing. I was hitting people with ivermectin, with quercetin. I was giving them, and I'm gonna tell the government, and look at you, you motherfuckers. I'm gonna tell you right now. I printed out a bunch of your cards and handed those motherfuckers out like candy.
I wish I would have gotten one. I had to pay for mine.
They were charging crazy money. I never made $1 on them. I got all the lot information.
I didn't actually pay for mine,
and I actually handed them out to people because I wasn't gonna let them do that to people. And I had one friend of mine I known since middle school. She was living in New York, owned a Pilates studio. Didn't want to vaccinate her daughter. Went to a doctor. The guy said, yeah, I'll give you a card. 10 grand. 10 fucking grand. I know a guy locally that made $60K selling those fucking things.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And I just couldn't do that. I had to just hand them out. I had a good friend of mine who has a printing place here in town. He used to do my business cards. He went and gave me a fucking stack. And I thought about printing out a bunch of them and renting a helicopter and flying over the fucking strip and dumping them out.
Too trackable.
With intent. It was me discrediting the whole thing is what I wanted to do. But I really felt like just doing that.
It's too trackable to know that it was you who did it.
I didn't care.
Okay.
I didn't care. I stood out in front of
I'll
all
go
this
back to jail.
Listen, if it was necessary to help people at that point,
Okay.
I definitely would have done that.
Are we on time? Sweet. It's the exact same time I asked last week.
Yeah, you got it in your head. The world death clock.
All right, so the reason I brought up Trump in the first place, the world death clock, that's right. It's in my head at all times. Because of the conversation about how much I dislike his outward personality and the way he is in the public and what he's done with American policy as it pertains to black people in general. Yes, I know he threw out all the DEI stuff, but that affected black people disproportionately because it was our shit in the first place that we were due from building this fucking country.
Completely disagree.
I know, but this is the facts.
This is your facts.
Regardless.
So let me ask you, you're a smart guy and a business owner,
Sometimes.
and I know this. So you're gonna hire someone, and don't fucking lie. Two guys come to the table. One guy is clearly smarter than the other guy. You're gonna hire the one that's not good at something simply because of the race?
Okay, so I'm going back to the time when it was just affirmative action. That's the only one.
Which shouldn't have existed either.
Which was, if two people are equally qualified for the job and one of them is black, you hire the black person.
Okay, that's racist.
I'm okay with that.
Okay,
because
well,
you know
I
what
like
also,
you being honest.
Because you know what was also racist? Segregation and slavery. Yeah. So now we're looking for 400 years of racism the other fucking direction so we can make up for the shit we went through.
So your answer to racism is more racism.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Okay. So if we're being honest about it, then at least you're being honest. Okay.
Right.
Most of these liberals are not.
Racist, I'm looking for a leg up for the black people who built this country. The ancestors of the black people who built this country. And we had it.
Not everyone that built the country was black. You're aware of that, right?
Okay, the black people who were
who participated in the building of the country.
Not that I don't give a fuck about them. My purpose for this conversation is to care for the black people who were enslaved and their ancestors.
Okay, and you're okay if I say I want to support a certain segment of people based on tribalism?
There are
yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so then what are we doing? Are we Americans supporting Americans, or are we all going to segregate now and say, I want what's best for this color of people, and I want what's best for this color of people? That's what we're doing? Because this is how we got Nick Fuentes, and this is how we got the Groypers.
When it pertains to black people, yes.
Okay, so then we're going to, going at that pace, in that direction, you're never going to have a unified country.
So we had it, right? 1964, Civil Rights Act passed, affirmative action gets put into place. Black people get an opportunity to potentially get hired if they have the right education, and it permeates to the colleges as well. You have to give them an opportunity. If they have the grades, you have to give them an opportunity to come to your college.
Again, you're implying that there was no other way that was going to work. That white America
historically
was going to say no.
We were locked out.
Okay. I don't necessarily agree that.
Well, there's a thing called segregation. You should look it up.
Well, I'm aware of segregation. Thank you so much, Professor.
We were fucking locked out.
But when you force this, when you pry bar this thing in, you're seeing what happens.
Look,
it creates more dissension.
It does. I saw the good and the bad, and I'm researching and seeing how bad it was for people who were in that environment on both sides, white and black. From 1964 to 1978, 1980-ish, when things seemed to get kind of normal, where black people and white people in America, all colors in America, were coexisting together, except for the extreme outliers, right? When you and I were kids, When you and I were kids, we're growing up, the black dude in the class was the black dude in the class. Everybody knew him because he was the black dude in the class. It was a conversation we all had.
Okay.
Right? Mexican kid comes in the class. Oh, dude, it's a Mexican dude in our class today.
What fucking school did you go to?
Western.
Was this in Germany?
No, so Western, class of 94.
All right, if you say so.
Right. But Ari Tobler, CVT Gilbert, Brinley. I had a stint at fucking Garside for 2 weeks. That didn't work out so well. Brinley.
I won't ask.
You shouldn't. Cimarron, and then Western.
Okay.
But it was a thing. You were black, everybody knew it, and it was talked about, right? The black kids were good at basketball, probably good at football, not so great at baseball. I was the black kid who was good at baseball, and it was fucking weird for everybody. Right? You acknowledged it, and it was cool.
I was the white kid, allegedly white. I was the white kid that ran fast and did all the things. So it broke all the stereotypes, which don't always apply.
Absolutely. So I was good with our country in that part. Now, DEI steps in, and LGBTQ rights get latched on to the black rights, and pendulum swings too far. America can't stomach it because the white folks in America were like, look, you know what? Yeah, our ancestors did fuck these black people over. We're going to be okay giving them a pass here and there because, you know what? Yeah, they don't live in places where they can get a great education. Yeah, we fucked them there. We robbed them of any chance for having material generational wealth because we fucking took everything they had. So, yeah, you know what? For a while, for a time, we're going to give them a little leg up and a hand up and even a hand out.
This sounds like you're a proponent of reparations.
I'm not against it. I'll take a fucking check. It was a 40 acres and a mule.
I'll take the 40 acres right now.
Yeah, of course, but not in the middle of fucking nowhere where we got it.
I'll take it anywhere I can get it at this point.
I will give you 40 acres. Someplace you don't fucking give a fuck about.
I appreciate that. I like to camp.
Like you could have a top of a fucking mountain you'll never get to.
I mean, I got to be able to access it.
Right. I mean, so if black people were smarter in that time frame, we as a people would have collectively gotten together with our 40 acres and done something similar to Native Americans, which you don't call Native Americans anymore, but Native Americans, and established a culture. And we tried that in fucking Tulsa, and the whole fucking thing got bombed up. But
yeah, but I think you need to look at Tulsa and who really was behind that. Have you done that?
No. And nor do I care. It fucks up my story.
Well, you should care because it, right, if it fucks up the story.
It fucks up my story.
Because I'm going to tell you it was the left, and I'll be happy to sit with you and show you that.
Of course it was.
Yeah. Well, listen, I don't share that whole race first thing.
Well, why would you?
Well, because I'm white and I'm not.
White men don't have to think
exactly.
About it.
That's the part. But the truth of this is just what I said. It's Marxism. You and the gay community have been lumped together because cultural Marxism is a thing to push an agenda. And it's not going to be to your benefit. It's not going to be to anyone's benefit. You're looking at it right now.
Oh, I know.
The country is imploding in many places because of what people have thought they wanted to jump on the coattails of Marxism. It's going to take me where I want to go. It doesn't work that way.
And I'm at fault because I embraced it. Like, I've got gay friends out the wazoo, right? And when it was gay rights and gay marriage, I'm like, yeah, you guys deserve whatever you can love and marry whoever the fuck you should be as miserable as the rest of us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think we should be taking care of our people in that regard. So far that you have to make all these special arrangements for people, though, that's where I drew the line. As a person who is a supporter of the gay community, I drew the line at all the special shit that had to be done with construction. I'm like, that's fucking weird. Like, just
all of it.
So somebody made the joke, just because you're pretending doesn't mean that the rest of us have to.
No, that's the anticipation that I have to buy into you pretending.
Right. So all of that was to say what I don't like about Trump is that. What I do like about Trump is the stuff that we've been talking about for the past 3 weeks. The global positioning to put America first and keep us as the global power and not the rulers of the world, but in position to rule the world should we have to.
The default currency, all that has to be maintained. If it's not, then every conversation outside of that becomes secondary because we're now living not as that default currency in that primary country.
And if it takes an asshole boogeyman for us to get there, to have the surety of this country, which we love. I mean, we use the house analogy. We got the fucking nicest house in the block. Maybe the front porch is broke up a little bit and we got leaky pipes and we need to redo the landscape in the backyard, but it's still the nicest fucking house in the block.
Yeah, it's the best house on a bad block.
Right. if we want to keep that, we need to let him do the positive things,
right?
And
like
suffer
shooting,
through
like
the negative
shooting
things.
more male nurses in Minnesota. I believe that should always be first and foremost to get rid of the Marxist culture in Minnesota. We have to do that. So we agree.
Wait, what candy does ICE kill for?
The pretty good kind.
The good and pretty.
The good and pretty.
You know, the licorice.
I got it.
Good and plenty. Anyway. Yeah, so I'm not a big Trump fan, but I love his I'm tolerant of his international policy because of the potential for what we will have control over and what it means for the world and America at that point. Because if we let someone else take control of it, the world won't be as great as in our version that we like.
It won't exist in the manner you're used to existing in.
Babylon will fall.
Yeah, I mean, I think when history is written, what it will show him to be is actually a transformative president of a nature that we've never seen. And these things will write themselves through time, and I think he will age well.
I think he'll age well for a certain demographic. I think that he is the hard pendulum swing right, and the next pendulum swing will be center.
Well, we better hope it's a worse center, because if we go back to the left, you will see the continuation of what was an invasion, the implosion internally of your school system. I mean, it's an endless Marxist coup over and over and over.
If it goes back left and 30% of what Trump is doing is undone, we're screwed. Because he basically is pushing the atomic reset button right now.
And you're only in year one. This is going to get a lot more fucking wild.
If he lives that long, that's the other side. But JD Vance is on his page, so if God forbid Trump gets taken out, we got a better presidential acting person in there in JD Vance. I'm good with it.
Right. He's
I'm not condoning.
He's more user friendly, right? He says nicer things in a nicer way, so you'll find it more tolerable.
He's just as angry. He's just smarter.
Well, I don't know if he's smarter. Listen, I like my truth served like he serves them.
On Truth Social.
Yeah, I like him to just say the shit. You know? I don't need the presidential bullshit. We did that for years, and look at where we are. I don't need it packaged nicely. I just need it delivered.
You don't, but if it is, you get less people being pissed off at it and more people supporting it.
Yeah, well, then they need to learn how to deal with the truth.
Let me do my Trump.
Yeah.
And more people supporting it.
Yeah. Huge.
Well, Matt, this is probably our best show so far, as far as the energy was concerned. I appreciate you inviting me to this thing. Quan, Lana, appreciate your support back there. I am Derek. This is Matt. Slide in our DMs. Send us what you want to talk about. We'll address it next week.
Yep. Thank you, everyone.